Good morning, everybody. Good Friday morning, the 23rd of April, 2021, and time for Finishing Friday, where I take some miniatures that I've been painting and I try to finish them off. I only have the one big, actually no, I tell a lie. I'm going to work on the bell tower. I'm going to try and finish that off today, try and add some weathering and some highlighting to it. It's looking pretty good, I think. And then I'm going to, because I haven't touched it in a little while, work on the giant head. I have an idea I want to try, and I'm also going to try and tone down the glossiness of it a little bit, so we'll see how that works. So yeah, a couple of little projects for this morning. I hope that they will result in some cool looking terrain that I can bring into the store and people can start using. This is going to be awesome. If you have been watching for the last couple of weeks, thank you. You probably saw me working on that giant head a couple of weeks ago on Finishing Friday, and you saw me last night or yesterday. I did 2 streams yesterday working on the bell tower. And the thing that I've been wrestling with is the fact that the wash I chose to use has a sort of glossy finish. So if you look at this in the light here, you can see it's a little bit shiny there. It's not the effect I was going for. It looks fine. You know, this one, it's not as bad as the head. It still looks sort of plastic and glossy. It's still very slightly tacky, but not nearly as sticky as it was yesterday. You may also have heard me talking yesterday about the fact that I was having some trouble cleaning my brush. It's okay now, but yeah, it's fine. Let me read a thing to you, all right? This is from the Quick Shade Dark Tone Army Painter wash that I have been using on these 2 pieces. The Army Painter Quick Shade is spectacular shading and varnishing in one. You will achieve stunning shading effects extremely fast with just 1 dip, while the varnish protects your miniature from the wear and tear of the battlefield. I was trying to figure out how to clean my brush. It says, use mineral turpentine or white spirits to clean your brush's clothes and as a thinner. So I don't have any turpentine, but I do have some, I think it's glycopropyl alcohol. Anyhow, I used rubbing alcohol yesterday to clean my brush, and it worked fine. The brush is in okay shape. It still has give. The bristles are not all clumped together in one big mass the way it was last night. So that worked all right. But yeah, this wash, it's actually intended to leave that, it's a feature, not a bug, that it ends up with that gloss and that sheen, because it's shellacking the piece when I use it. I wish I had known that before I started, but hey, here we are, and there's not much I can do about it. Anyways, let us, because I've been really looking forward to this, do some fine detail work on this piece. There's a couple of things I want to do. And, you know, it's not going to be a lot. Just a couple of fine details will really bring this to life. First, I'm going to do some weathering on some of the metallic areas. And what we're going to use for that, if I can find it, is this dry rust. Just Army Painter War Paints Dry Rust. let's see what I've got in the way of brushes that will work for this. I just basically want to dry brush, but with as much precision as possible. That brush is probably toast. Here we are. Yeah, there we go. We're going to use this, which is my Army Painter small dry brush. You can see it's got an angled tip, stiff bristles, perfect for doing a little dry brushing. So I'm going to need access to my paper towel here. I've been looking forward to this so long, because this is my favorite part of painting the model. It's just these little fine details that really bring it to life. Like, they may be too subtle to be even seen at first glance. Okay, so get a little paint on the brush, get it in the bristles there, and then get most of it off of the brush. So there's just a little caught in the bristles. And then we'll pick a piece of metal. We're going to work on this little ring here. And then I'm just going to very gently add a little rust color to the bottom half of it. See, it's just catching on the edges. That's the idea, is that you're not really painting, you're just trying to add a highlight to it. Like I said, it's going to be subtle. And then I think I'm going to try to have that rust color sort of drip down under it. Yeah, like that. Pretty good. Let's keep going. Trying to get it on the bottom half as if corrosion is coming down. Really don't want it to be very obvious. For one thing, I don't want it to just be orange streaks. I want it to be just a tinge of color. Make it look as though this is an older piece of metal that's been rusting in place for a while. there's all these. There's another of these rings under here. Is there? Yeah. Oh, perfect. Oh, yes. Don't change a thing. Oh, I went too far. Fine, it's fine. Yeah, it looks good. Okay. I went a little heavy there, and it actually looks pretty good, so I'm gonna go a little heavier on some of these areas. Just don't want to overdo it, but I'm sort of dialing in exactly how much paint I want on the brush to get the right look out of this. Let's just hit the bottoms of all these little nails here. That's not really doing anything. Is definitely still tacky, but that's fine. And then there's these bands here. I'll do the same thing with those. Up here. Bell here. It's definitely subtle, but that's what I'm going for. Shouldn't be obvious to the eye. You should take it in almost subconsciously, barely aware it's there. I've got these sort of blemishes here. When I was doing the wash, hit those with it as well. There we go. All right. Gave it a little bit of character there. Let's continue work on the bell. So I gave the bell these sort of highlights there. I'm going to touch those up. I'm trying to remember what I used last time. I think I used Scorpy Green, which is something I got out of one of my kits of WizKid paints. Oh, actually, I want to work on the skeleton cages. Because they also have a lot of that metallic. I want to give them that rusted, aged feel. Do not want to mix cat hairs into the model. Folks can see it's a subtle effect, but it's definitely there. These look a little weathered. Good morning, Jen. Welcome, welcome. Glad you could join me. Welcome to Finishing Friday. So I'm just adding some rust coloring to the metallic areas on this model. Try and make it look more weathered. This is one of the more fun things I get to do. Dry brushing this in here. Trying to keep it as subtle as possible while still being slightly visible. Makes the piece look a little more aged. The cool thing about this is it's something where if it goes on clumpy or irregular, that actually makes it look more realistic. So that's sort of what I'm going for. Subtle, but just a little bit of that rust in there. Let's do the other side of those skeleton cages. Don't want it looking too pristine. This is supposed to be an older piece of architecture. It's probably been repurposed into this piece of terrain that it currently is. Trying to get bottoms and edges, because those are where the most corrosion will probably take place. Also makes the model feel it gives it added dimension. It makes it look a little more 3D. I mean, obviously it's 3D already, but because it's at this scale, you need a little something to make it pop a bit. This is looking great. Exactly what I was going for. That's the most satisfying, is when you set out to do something and it comes out exactly the way you envisioned it. There. So, a little bit of rusty highlighting on there. Pretty happy with how that came out. Basically just using the edge of the dry brush to try and catch the paint on there. Alright, so that's that. We added a little bit of rust to the bell. Make it look a little more weathered as well. Now we're going to continue work on the bell. I'm going to do the same thing, but with a different color. We're going to use that Scorpy green that I have from my WizKids paint kit. How am I doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's very satisfying to get this done. I'm going to move this piece into the done category, and that is a big step. All right, so that green, you can see it's very bright. And we're going to use that on these emblems. Give them a little bit more definition. So again, dry brushing. So we don't want much paint on the brush. You want it in between the bristles so that when you pull the brush across the piece, it just catches. Oh man, that's more than I wanted, but that's fine. Too wet. Okay, all right, that's fine. Some paint got down into the wash. That definitely gives it a weathered, corroded look. Let's try and be a little more subtle with it. There we go. That's what I'm going for. A little corroded look to it. Why, 10 rabbit bears! Welcome, Andrew. Glad you could join me. How are you doing? Just doing finishing touches on this piece of terrain here. I need to be careful and subtle with this if I can. The trick is I don't want it to look like what it is, which is paint on a model. I want it to look like it's corrosion due to age. So, trying to do it as gently, as subtly as I can, just feathering it in. It looks pretty good. Yeah. It might be a little heavier than I was going for, but it still comes across, I think. Maybe see if I can do this. I'm doing pretty well. I'm hanging in there. Get my second shot tomorrow. Trying to add a little touch of this corrosion as if it's dripped down onto the bell beneath the... I don't know if that's working, but... too subtle. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I want to do something else with the bell. This gives me an opportunity to do something with my new paints. So yesterday I showed off some of the new paints that I got that were recommended by Novocaine for the Souls, who is one of my regular viewers from the UK. He recommended to me these Metal and Alchemy metallic gel paints, and I want to try one of these out. I don't know, is this gonna be too jarring? I'm thinking about it. See, there's this script along the bottom of the bell, and I feel like I want to try and highlight that. So I'm going to, let's see how this works. Worst that happens is that it ruins the model and I throw it away and cry. I don't think it'll come to that. But I'm excited to be able to actually decant some of this and see how it looks. Oh, the bottle is actually sealed. I need a pin. I had a pin in one of my boxes, but I don't know if I still have that. Where's my glue? Maybe I can use this. Yes, that worked. Perfect. Okay. So tomorrow, chat, I get my second prick, get my second shot. I'm 2 weeks out from being fully vaccinated. That's, I can't hardly believe that. Okay, now let's see this stuff. Oh, it's so pearlescent and bright and, that's gorgeous. That's so gorgeous. All right, let's, where'd my dry brush go? There we go. Let's see if I can subtly add that to that runic script along the bottom of the bell, and hope it's not too bright. Pretty cool effect, I think. Sort of highlights the runes. Without calling too much attention to them, I think. Cool, cool, cool. So now that bell, I mean, you look at this and it just grabs your eye. You have to look at it. And I think it looks very cool. All right, let's do a little bit of subtle highlighting on the skeletons. They look pretty good, but just a little subtle shading will make them look even better. So for this we're using off-white, which is a pretty darn bright white paint from Vallejo. It says off-white, but it's actually quite bright. And then again, dry brushing, so we don't want a lot on the brush. We want it between the bristles where it will catch on the model. And then we're going to, I've been going from the bottom up because I want the corrosion to look like it's dripping down the model. But we're going to go from the top down and give a little bit of, oh, that's way, way brighter. These skeletons a bit of a bleached white look. And also a light source. Very bright white, so in contrast, it looks even brighter. There. Trying to do it all from the same angle. As if the light's coming from this side. Aw, thanks, Jen. I'm glad you enjoy finishing Friday. It gives me a real sense of accomplishment to get to this, where I take a model that I've been working on and I just give it a couple extra little somethings. Friday is a good way to close out the week of streams. It gives me a good sense of having done something with my week. So I'm glad it's resonating with you as well. So those skeletons now, they have a lot of definition to them, right? They've got sort of the initial coat, they've got the wash, and then they've got this highlighting, and it gives them so much definition. Makes them look a lot more interesting. When I'm done with these skeletons, I'm going to work on the skulls on the big head, because I'm just going to have to accept the fact that the big head is going to look the way it looks. There's not much I can do about the... that's a little bit less subtle than I was going for. That's fine. To go. See if I can clean it off a little bit there. Oh, it's still wet. Can always touch that up a bit later. Yeah, I'm not super happy with that, but I'll do a quick touch up on that later. In general, I'm pretty happy with how this is coming out on these guys. Look fairly skeleton-y. Okay. Looking pretty good there. This one's a little more subtle than the others, so I'm going to quick second going over. Maybe I want to just catch some edges on the stonework. Let's be careful with this, because this could really mess things up a little bit. Trying to catch some of the edges here. consistent with that. I'm not going to do it on every edge and corner. Just maybe a little subtle edging to... Again, you're just trying to make the model have a little extra pop. Detail that barely visible, but makes it seem larger, makes it seem more detailed. Yeah, I like how that came out. It's subtle. I like subtlety. Let's try and do that on the other side as well. I realize I'm doing two light sources here. I guess this thing is on Tatooine, because it's got light hitting it from the upper right, from both front and back. Hey, it's a fantasy world, right? You can do that. Okay, so I need to touch that up right there, because I'm not happy with that little block there. Am I going to do anything further with the wood areas? Because they've got that wash on them. I did definitely leave a fingerprint here. Oh wow, I actually took some of the paint off here. Eesh. Well, not much I can do about that now. It's upsetting. Yeah, there it is right there on my hand. That there is the paint from right there. Just came right off on me. Huh. Oh well. Oh well. I think I'm gonna set that aside for now. It's virtually done. Just needs the wash on these steps, which I'll have to do as a separate thing because I don't want to hold it by these areas if I'm going to be pulling paint off of them. But let's bring out Mr. Head here. A big ol' head. And try and do some of that same shading on these skulls. Lobster of Revenge, hi. I didn't see you come in. Giants leave fingerprints on terrain? I'm certain they do. Some subtle shading on these guys. Make them a little more interesting. Some areas of this that I can add rust to cooler. I don't think I'm gonna wash on that, dude. cool. Let's add some more rust to this piece. And then I want to try and tone down the glossiness of some of it. Still too much white in the brush, so it's coming out sort of milky, which is not what I'm looking for. Subtlety. Balancing act between too subtle, too glaring. Doesn't help that this is so incredibly glossy now. I guess. Okay. Let's see, we've got these metal braces here. Could use just a little subtle rust effect. Try and just add a little depth to these nails, adding a little subtle rust to them. Adds just a bit of, it's both adding a bit of color and giving the eyes something to look at, and adding depth to the model. Like the closer you look at it, the more little details your eye should pick out. That's my goal. Okay. Add a little that symbol on the forehead there. This is where I want to just add a little subtle detailing there. Glaring. That's just enough. There. This is looking on the metal band here. It looks washed out. Light. I think I just had too much white on the brush. Tone it down by just washing it off. Yeah, it'll do, I guess. It doesn't look perfect, but this piece is not going to look perfect. All right, all this wood, I want to do something about the shininess of it. So I'm going to get out our flat brown. That's this here, flat earth. I'm going to try dry brushing it on very, very lightly to cut down on the glossiness. I don't know if this will work, but it's worth a try. Perfect, but I guess the light catches the edges of the model, right? Edges and corners. So if I can get those edges and corners like this, then the light will catch the model less, maybe. Feathering on a layer of light brown. To cut down shininess. It might be working a little bit. This is never going to look exactly the way I envisioned it, which is fine. I guess it's helping. All right. And cut down on the glare a teeny tiny bit, I guess. Let's do something about these posts. Do the same thing, I think. The question is, do I want to do a different shade? Let's look and see what happens if I do a dry brush on the underside here, just to get an idea. It's subtle enough. Catching the edges and tops. This is always going to look glossy like this. But oh my goodness, where'd that come from? Got some red in there. A bit less glossy. With the dry brush. Paint. And then we're going to do another experiment. So I have an idea. I don't know if this is going to work at all, but I have a cunning plan. And we'll see what it looks like. So I was thinking about this head, right? And I was thinking about what I want it to look like. And I want it to look like it's carved from like a slab of granite. So, what does granite look like? Granite has a uneven, stippled sort of look to it. Right? So I'm gonna try and give that look to the head by sort of stippling some paint on there. Sort of poking it on almost. Well, this might not be cutting down the glare, but I like what the highlights are doing to these logs, giving them an extra sort of detail there. When all is said and done, I'm going to spray this thing with a matte varnish. I have a rattle can of matte varnish, and that might also cut down on the glare slightly. It won't completely eliminate it, but it might reduce it. Definitely gives some depth to things, which is always nice. Because you've got sort of tri-layer effect going on with the wood now. You've got the base coat, and you've got the wash down in the crevices. And then you've got this highlighting that I'm doing with the dry brushing now. I mean, yeah, it's centuries old. It's got rusty things on it. Being very quick and imprecise with this. I'll admit, I've somewhat given up on this model. Like, not completely, but I've definitely reached a stage where I'm like, it's gonna look like what it looks like. There's no rescuing it. I've learned a lesson. And now I just have to do best I can with it. Alright, so reduced the glare a little bit and definitely added some texture, which is cool. Did the little heads. That. Let's see if this idea of mine is going to work on the head itself. Oh, we're doing a gardening? Okay, let's do a gardening. I thought of a couple of things that I want to do with the seeds that you collect from our garden. So I've got ideas, folks, as always, coming up with new ideas for the stream. All right, so I'm going to get out this Castle Gray. It's just a sort of light gray. Yes, there is. You can actually type bang seeds, I think. There it is. Yep. All right. grab some Castle Gray on the tip of my dry brush. And then what happens if I... Nope, that's too much. What happens if I try and stipple it in? It's not exactly what I was envisioning. It is an uneven distribution, so that's fine. I want it to look sort of speckled, really. Dappled. I don't know if it's really doing what I want, but it's cutting down the glare a bit. And that's good. Something. Part of it is I don't really have a plan. I don't really know what I'm doing with this. Well, not perhaps exactly what I was going for, but it does add something to the model. An irregularity that maybe helps. Whatever. All right. So we'll see what happens when I add a matte varnish to that piece. But I think we're gonna call the head done. Like, I don't know if there's any further damage I can do to it. We added some bits to it to give it a little bit more weathered feel. Not perfect, but still looks interesting. So hopefully people will want to bring this to the table and play some Warhammer on it, or some Warcry. I'm going to call that done. Clean my brush. And the bell tower is mostly done. The bell tower I want to do a tiny touch up there because I don't like that blep. And I want to add a wash to these stairs here, but I have to wait till this dries before I do that, because as we saw, I already ripped some paint off of there, just because this is so tacky. It's so now, but yeah. So we'll do a wash on these stairs, do a tiny touch up there. Actually, I can do that tiny touch up now. Gunmetal. This is just like the tiniest little touch up there. But we added a lot of detail to this model today with the washes and the highlighting. There we go. There, I fixed it. Make it easy. Yeah, there's some color in there. It looks interesting. And I like interesting. Let's add, since I've got a while before the end of this stream, let's add some paint to these two pieces. These are those sort of wooden platforms that go between two pieces of terrain so that somebody can stand there. Just give a upper layer to your terrain. I don't know what I just did with the cap for this brush. It'll show up. So yeah, let's do a little work on these guys. Bring them a little bit closer to finished. Cat hair on my palette. Always gonna be cat hair. It's fine. Can't believe it's almost the weekend. Should be pretty easy. Finish putting the dark brown on these. These are simple pieces of terrain. Not a lot of complexity to it. Makes this relatively fast. I'll finish these today because I still have to do these bits here with the red, and then I have to do a wash, some highlights, so these still have a little bit of work to do, but at least I can make some progress on them today. Move them closer to finished. Oops, that's fine. Every little bit of terrain that I complete brings me closer to being able to work on other Warhammer models, other Warcry models. Work on the figures in this Warcry demo. I might actually take a break from terrain next week to work on some figures, just because I want to break the monotony a little bit. We've gotten some terrain done. There's plenty more to do, but it'd be nice to do something else for a little while. So next week I might work on some minis instead of some terrain. We'll see how I feel on Monday. So who knows how I'm going to react to this shot tomorrow. Amanda had barely any reaction to her second shot. She was a little bit tired, experienced some muscle aches on the second day, and then she was just basically fine. So I don't know if I'll be that lucky. See what happens. Can't I do this? Why is paint not going where I want it to go? I think I'm trying to... There's an area that I'm trying to get paint on that's actually already painted, and it's just glossy. It's reflecting the light, and it looks like it's not painted. For all their simplicity, these two little platforms have taken slightly longer than they ought to paint, just because I have to put them down and let them dry before I can do the other side. So, I painted this side earlier this week, and then I had to put it down to dry on that side so that I could paint the other side. Can't do the whole thing in one day. It takes a couple of days to do it. Being so messy here. This is, I guess, it hardly matters. These are one of the most utilitarian, simple pieces of terrain that exist. So it doesn't have to be beautiful or precise. Just want to get paint on the model. stream on Sunday. I have streamed most Sundays since I've started this painting on stream project. So it seems likely. But again, I don't know how I'm going to react to the shot that I'm getting tomorrow afternoon. If I'm feeling too tired to stream on Sunday, I'll post in the Discord so the folks know what's up. I feel guilty because I've missed a lot of streams in the past couple of weeks, what with car, and I had a dentist appointment last week on Wednesday. Just a lot of stuff taking up my time. So I've missed a lot of streams in the last week or so. Okay, I need to do that log there, and then this piece is ready to put aside and dry. I need coffee. Where did I just... Oh, this is the brown here. Bottle is pretty much empty. But not completely empty. So I actually, because I'm getting my shot, and because I don't know how it's going to affect me, I actually took all of next week off. Which means I may have time to do some bonus streams? Who knows? Who knows what I'm going to do with all that time off? I want to play some Beat Saber. I started a new game of Mass Effect Andromeda, so I'm sort of trying to hype myself up for the new Mass Effect remaster that's coming out. And I've only played Andromeda once, whereas I've played all the rest of the Mass Effect multiple times. A week of streaming, entirely possible. Entirely possible. I might end up streaming an awful lot during that downtime. I'm going to try and dedicate some time to updating my Twitch bot, my chat bot. So give you folks some things to do with the seeds that you can earn, things like that. See if we can hit my lofty goal of having 30 subs by the end of April. We sort of got stuck at 27 subs. We've been here for an entire week. I'm not subs, follows. I don't have subs yet. That is a future me problem. But it'd be nice to get to 30 follows by the end of the week. Next week, if we can. See if we can get to that goal. Alright, I'm going to set this aside to dry. It needs just a little bit more detailing, and then we can wash on this. Let's work on this one. Trying to decide where to start. Like, I can start here or here or start anywhere. No. I'm sorry, lobster. You didn't get any seeds out of that garden. How disappointing. Definitely with the gardening mini-game and with the stream in general, I want to foster a sense of community and of sharing. So I'm going to try and work on that during my week off next week. Try and add some stuff to the stream that make it feel more welcoming and inviting and fun to hang out in. Give you folks in chat more to do during those times when I get absorbed in what I'm doing and don't actually look at chat. If anybody has any ideas, things that they'd like to see in my chat, perhaps things you've seen in other streams or just fresh ideas, feel free to PM me or talk on the general channel on my Discord. Okay, I found the cap for that other brush. It was just hiding. There we go. If you're not already a member of our Discord, I hope you'll join up. Folks post pictures in there of stuff that they're working on. It's just sort of a easy, quick place to chat with other members of my itty-bitty streaming community. I just put the link in chat there. feel good about the finishing touches that we put on those other pieces today. Some of it looks a little busy, but I'm sure it'll grow on me. And I got to use one of my new paints. That was cool. Nice to finally be able to do that. Well, I say finally. I got the paints like 2 days ago. Time is oddly distended lately. Like, I feel this week has been going on for a long, long time. And this month and this year, even longer. But, like, the Strixhaven pre-release week feels like it's been a month already. And it hasn't even been a week. Well, it's been a week today. We got the pre-release kits into the store last Friday. And that was, I don't know if I talked about that on stream, but last Friday was a trial. I don't think I ever did. Our Strixhaven pre-release kits for the Abington location didn't arrive in the store until 3:30, and we opened at 3 and had people asking us if we had, Strixhaven stuff to buy at like 2:30. So that's not great. They just got shipped by freight, so we had to wait for third-party freight company to get them to the store. It took forever. So I actually went in super early last Friday because I had to be there for stuff to be received. That's why I didn't stream last Friday. Because I had to be at the store. And then I was like in communication with our distributor and in communication with the shipping company. They were asking if we had should they pull up to the loading dock in the back, they asked. And I was like, we don't have a loading dock. You're going to have to send somebody with a pallet jack and a lift gate on the truck. And they're like, okay, well, that's going to take extra time. My goodness. Got there in the end. Some of the folks who, the earliest of early adopters, were disappointed because they couldn't pick their stuff up right when the store opened. But we got there in the end. And I utilized all the extra time I had at the store to do other receiving. How big an order was it? It was 1 pallet worth of stuff. The pre-releases, generally we get a lot of product, and Wizards has lately allowed us to sell full boxes during pre-release week. So we had a bunch of set boxes of Strixhaven, a few draft boxes of Strixhaven, a ton of pre-release kits, plus just other stuff that I had ordered that week that got folded into the same order. I think it ended up being, I'm trying to think, maybe 50 boxes of stuff. So the distributor made the decision not to send it by UPS, but to just load it onto a pallet and ship that to us, which added probably a day to the time it took in transit. Been very pleased with the reaction to Strixhaven, though. People are really excited about this set, and it's doing very well. I'm certainly enjoying opening it. Amanda and I got a set box that I purchased, and we've been cracking packs, trying to pace ourselves. So we're opening like 6 packs a day, so that it would last us all week. I want to open the whole thing on the first day. We have done that in the past, but I don't know, lately I need something to look forward to. It's nice to have some packs and know that you've still got something cool. But I was certainly not idle in the store in the extra hours while I was waiting for the shipment to arrive. Did some cleaning, some reorganizing, received some other stuff. We had gotten a big order that Chase transferred from Norton. Very strangely, he transferred it from Norton by way of Saugus. He brought it to the Saugus store, and then Derek went to Saugus and picked it up and brought it to Abington. But I had to receive that on Friday. It was a busy day last Friday. Long, busy, slightly frustrating day. And that was 1 week ago. Like I said, it feels like it was a month ago. It's okay. Every day, things are getting a little better. Today promises to be fun. So that was pre-release for Strixhaven. Today is release day for Strixhaven, which means now we can start selling packs. We couldn't sell individual packs this past week. We could only sell full boxes and the pre-release kits, of which we still have some left in the store, or did when I left on Wednesday night. I wasn't there yesterday. But we still had a significant number of pre-release kits, but we were sold out of... So, Strixhaven, they have done a thing that Wizards does periodically where you get to choose the flavor of your kit when you're doing a pre-release. Strixhaven is a school for mages, legally distinct from a certain school for young wizards in the UK. And there are 5 classes in this school for mages. So when you pick up your pre-release kit, you get to choose which class you are a member of. And you get a kit that has 5 packs of Strixhaven, 5 draft packs, and 1 pack that is all in the colors of your chosen school. To sort of help you build a deck in that school. And 2 of the classes have far outstripped the other 3 in popularity. So we ran out of Silver Quill packs on Wednesday. And we had, I think, 2 Witherbloom packs left. Silver Quill is a school of writing and book learning and tomes and stuff like that. Naturally, that's the school that Amanda chose. Witherbloom is all about growing things and also rot and decay, because the two are very much part of the same cycle. So that's the second most popular. It's a black-green combination, whereas Silver Quill is black and white. I chose Quandrix, which is magic based on mathematics and sort of natural numerical order of the universe. Because I used to be in the far long distant past a math major at one time, and I've always loved the order of math and the laws of math. So that definitely fit my personality. The mechanics of Quandrix, less so. It is a blue and green set. I don't know, it involves a lot of, like, if your card has X in the casting cost, it's probably a Quandrix card, and I enjoy that. But it's not my favorite thing in Magic. I do enjoy sort of having to figure out tricks with the cards and making cool combos and that sort of stuff. And some of that is definitely in Quandrix. And then there's the other two. In Quandrix we had quite a few packs left when I left. And the other two are Lorehold, I believe it is, the red and white. They are the keepers of ancient secrets, but also the jocks for some reason. And as a color combination, it's not as popular, although the Lorehold Commander deck, they released a commander deck for each of the color combinations. And the Lorehold Commander deck has been exceptionally popular. That was the first one we sold out of, I think. We'll get more commander decks today, hopefully. Today's shipment. And what's the school I'm missing? Oh, the red and blue, which is all about spells and sorceries and recasting spells and stuff like that. What is it called? I can't remember the name of the red and blue school. I guess that indicates just how incredibly popular it is, which is not at all. Yeah, it's just gone from my mind. I'll report on that later, chat. Or I guess you could Google it yourself. Jen, I don't know what fencing is related to. Or do you mean the piece that I'm working on? It's not actually a fence. Like, it doesn't go vertically. It goes horizontally. For some reason, I thought you were talking about swords. I was like, where'd that come from? No, this is not actually a fence. This is a platform. So when you are playing Warhammer and you're setting up your terrain, you will sometimes have a platform between two pieces of terrain that folks can climb onto. It gives them height and perhaps a tactical advantage in the fight. And that's what this is. I will demonstrate as soon as I am done with this log that I am just now finishing up. And pretty much done. There's some bits in here. There. Okay. Yeah, so what you would do is you would take two pieces of terrain, like say this and this. You'd have them, you know, however you have them arranged. And then you can have a bridge between them, like that. And then characters can get up on that bridge. Obviously it wouldn't be like this. This is just a very constrained space. So yeah, I've got two of these sort of platforms. This one and this one. And they are both now painted on both sides. So that's progress. Get paint on my fingers. That's progress too. I've got 5 minutes left. So as I approach the end of today's painting session, we did definitely get some finishing done for Finishing Friday. The bell, not completely done. The bell tower is mostly done. I have to do a wash on these stairs. I can't hold it by here because it's still too tacky. You can see I actually pulled some paint off of it there by mistake. So that doesn't look great, but it is what it is. But yeah, we got some stuff done on the bell there. It looks fine. It's not perfect. We got some shading done on these guys. Got some rust applied. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how that came out looking. It looks interesting, and that was my goal. So that is virtually complete. I did some work on Senior Head, and it looks a little bit more interesting now. Again, not perfect, but good enough. Good enough to go on the table and at least look interesting and cool, and give folks a cool surface to play on. So I'm counting that as pretty much done. I'm going to give each of these a matte varnish to finish them off, preserve them a little bit longer, and perhaps cut down on the glare. I think that varnish might help with that. So those are done. I just spent the last half hour painting the second side of these platforms. So we've got those done, mostly. A few more details to do on those. But yeah, progress. I have a lot of things on my plate for today. I have to go watch the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. No spoilers, please. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna finish my coffee. I'm probably gonna play some Mass Effect. I'm gonna play some Beat Saber, and then I have to go into the store, and I have to do more Magic stuff. It is release day for Strixhaven. So folks will have some fun playing some Strixhaven today in the store. I'm going to get bundles. I'm going to buy some stuff and bring it home. So I'm going to have more Magic cards for myself. So yeah, looking forward to today. Tomorrow night I get my shot. I don't know how I'm going to be feeling on Sunday. So I hope to have a Sunday stream, but we'll have to wait and see. It's very much a wait and see sort of thing right now. So in the meantime, thank you everybody for joining me. I had, as always, a ton of fun. We made some real good progress. Pretty satisfied with how things came out looking. And yeah, be excellent to each other and enjoy doing whatever art it is you choose to do. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.